Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eclectica once again. And today I am doing this show with a very, very special person, rather a specialist. So, as you all know, that today we will be discussing about the very current, propaganda or confusion that all of we are inside. That is with the COVID-19 vaccines. So, before I call my guest in, I just want to tell you that today you can open your heart and ask questions because the person whom we are going to talk, he is the right person to correct our doubts, and he's the right person to tell us what exactly should be done with these vaccines and what not. So let me just briefly introduce my guest of honor today. And it is very difficult to describe him because he has such a versatile profile that speaking here would really take our own time to introduce her. So, my guest is today Professor Sunit K. Singh. He is Professor of Molecular Immunology and Virology and Head Molecular Biology Unit, Faculty of Medicine, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, India. So, Sir is an amazing person, and I have been following him for quite a long. So, in addition, Professor Singh is professor in charge of Center for Experimental Medicine and Surgery (CMS) at the Institute of Medical Sciences, BHU, Varanasi. Professor Singh completed his PhD degree from University of Würzburg, Germany, in the area of molecular infection biology, and his postdoctoral trainings from Department of Internal Medicine, Yale University, School of Medicine, New Haven, Connecticut, USA, and Department of Neurology, University of California, Davis Medical Center, Sacramento, California, USA. He has also served as visiting faculty at Department of Pathology, Albert Einstein College of Medicine, New York, USA, Department of Arbovirology, Institute of Parasitology, Seske Voice Says Republic, Department of Immunology, University of Geneva, Geneva, Switzerland, Department of Pathology and Microbiology, Chonbuk, National University, South Korea, and that's really overwhelming. So, Professor Singh led a research group in the area of neurovirology and inflammation biology as a scientist at CSIR Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, that is CCMB, Hyderabad, India. Sir has done seminal work in the area of neurovirology and inflammation biology. Sir has published his research findings in various international peer reviewed journals in the area of molecular virology. In addition to his original research publications in high impact factor peer reviewed journals, Professor Singh has published many books in the area of infectious diseases. To just name a few are Neuroviral Infections, Volume 1 and Volume 2, Viral Hemorrhagic Fevers, Human Respiratory Viral Infection by CRC Press, Taylor and Francis Group, USA, Neglected Topical Diseases, South Asia, Defense Asia Biological Attacks, Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Springer, USA, Viral Infections and Global Change, Human Emerging and Re-emerging Infectious Diseases, Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Willie Blackwell Publications, USA. Sir has been associated with many reputed peer-reviewed international journals as deputy editor and editorial board member. Professor Singh has received many awards and recognitions from national organizations such as Indian Council of Medical Research, that is the very well-known ICMR. Professor Singh has been selected for the prestigious Dr. B.C. Roy Award of Medical Council of India for his academic credentials, and Sir has contributed immensely in understanding the molecular pathogenesis of different neurotropic viruses. So I hope all of you can understand that today we are having such a fantastic guest with us. So not wasting any more time, I will just call in Sir inside the studio so that we can take our conversation forward. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining and thank you so much for accepting my invitation. It is an honor and privilege for me to talk to you today on this platform.
Thank you,
So,
Dr. Gargi. It's my pleasure also to discuss on this very important aspect of COVID-19 and vaccines, myths, and facts. I think I am very happy to be here. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Thank you. And I think, sir, our audience is already overwhelmed by by understanding your expertise. So I think not wasting any more time, I will just try to clear some of the doubts that we are having these days. So I'll just try to first tell you that what are the very basic questions which I think we need to clear the ideas, and those are the things that we really need to understand. So, sir, can you just briefly explain us that, like, say, we have different types of vaccines, like as we have read in biology or we generally know, and different categories of vaccines, like live attenuated or protein based or DNA based, RNA based, etc. So, sir, which category of vaccines are better in case of particular COVID-19 pandemic, and why? So that is my first question to you.
Okay. So, first, I would just comment for a second what vaccine is. So, vaccine is just a biological product which induces kind of immune response against particular disease or virus. And this can be of several types, as you already mentioned, that it can be the inactivated vaccine, live attenuated, nucleic acid vaccines where DNA and RNA vaccines come into picture, adenoviral based vaccine, and currently, if you see, mostly 5 to 10 vaccines are currently in use. Few of them have really, gone through all stages of clinical trial, and few are in the process. But what happens once we have such kind of pandemic, we don't have much time. So we have only to protect our population. In that case, if we see that our safety trials are better, safety trials are not creating any adverse reaction, are very minimal rare reactions, then we allow vaccination to further go, lead its way. And side by side, we also collect the data of clinical stage 3 trial that comes under the process of that is known as emergency use authorization. As you ask the question, which one is the better? I would say whatever vaccines we are currently in hand, let it be the Pfizer, let it be Moderna, let it be the Covishield, let it be our Covaxin, all are better in terms of inducing immune response against SARS-CoV-2. And if you go back to the definition of WHO, that itself says any vaccine which is having, which is having efficacy more than 50%, then that is good to move on. And as you asked the question here, like Pfizer and Moderna are mRNA-based vaccine. Covaxin, which has been produced by Bharat Biotech in our country itself, that is inactivated vaccine. Covishield, that is by AstraZeneca and Oxford, and that is the adenoviral-based. So this is the scenario.
Thank you, sir. That was a very explicit way that you have explained us and very easy to understand. And so, sir, as you said that we have less time. So the development of vaccine, as in a traditional way, we know that to come up with a good vaccine in that way, which is really effective, it takes a lot of time. So, sir, just one question that hovers my mind is that, can we really trust vaccines that have been developed so quickly? And also, like, is it safe to be, one of the first person to be vaccinated? Because I think that is one thing which is actually it's in everybody's mind, though we go and take the shots, but I think that's kind of subconscious anxiety that we all have. So sir, can you please help us
Yeah.
by answering this question?
Yeah. So, actually, as you said, that this subconscious anxiety is existing in very many minds. So one has to understand this. This is not a very new effort. If you go back to 2002 to 2004 SARS outbreak, to differentiate it from SARS-CoV-2, I would use the term SARS-CoV-1. At that time itself, the vaccination platform was ready. Only issue was this: till then, this SARS-CoV outbreak was contained, so further people did not make much effort. But we had pipeline ready, so it's not very new process. This process has been there almost a decade back. Only what happened, we tried to find out what would be our target area in the SARS-CoV-2, like we have gone for receptor binding domain of the spike protein. So we studied that by using the structural vaccinology approaches, that which of these antigenic epitopes are having the quality to induce the efficient immune response in terms of neutralizing antibody generation. And then it has been. Now I am telling you, if you this I told you about in general about Covishield and our this Covaxin. If in this whole picture, what is very new? That is the mRNA based. First time this has come into picture. But people should know this all started in 1990. It's not one day. When scientists were making this particular mRNA based vaccine, what were they getting the problem? They were getting the problem reactogenicity was very strong. So in I will say it's a hyperactivated immune response
Okay.
that is not required also
Mhm.
even in a vaccine. So after that, research takes time. So after that, it took these many years to modify some of the regions in mRNA, to make some modification in mRNA, not to create that kind of hyperactivated immune response. And we have been successful in doing that. And the products are, our Pfizer and Moderna mRNA vaccine. DNA vaccines we are talking about, like or Zydus Cadila, I think is coming with that.
Yes.
DNA vaccine, there was issue. There was issue. The advantage was this: the DNA is quite stable, so you can keep the vaccine at room temperature. But what was the biggest problem? The immune response generation was very big. So many adjuvants and other things have been added in order to have a proper immune response. So these technologies have been with us, with scientists for decades. So this is not something new. So one should not have a anxiety. Whatever vaccine you are going to get first, you go for it. Get vaccinated, because if any pocket of the country will remain unvaccinated, that would be threat for country as well as the entire globe in terms of spread of the virus.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for, because I think that gives a sense of relief to us, the way you have explained each and everything, and I think that's really wonderful. Sir, I'm just asking you very common questions, which generally we talk about these things, and nowadays, as you know, social media, it's being bombarding so much of messages. So,
Yeah.
sir, I just wanted to understand that. As you said that any vaccine would be good, to build up this fight against COVID. But many people are getting affected by side effects of post vaccination as well. So, sir, what is the reason behind it? Like, we see news coming in that people are dying because, and they, make the propaganda in a way that it seems because of the vaccine they are dying. So it's kind of a very some news which is wrongly flowing. So I just wanted your expert advice, and if you just highlight this area and explain us this thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's very good question. So what happens? Forget about vaccine. Even if we talk about any drug, if I say this sentence that there is no drug available without any side effect, it's the
Correct.
right sentence. Everything is having action and side effect that if you are going for to use any drug. So these things are always taken in due consultation of clinicians, where you go and tell your if you are suffering from any comorbid conditions, or if you are having any issue other than your main threat, which is the SARS-CoV-2 infection. So you tell the clinician, and considering your thing, he suggests you which means when you should go get vaccinated and all. Number this whole I will say confusion is started with the Covishield vaccine, when people started getting some kind of clot formation, and that happened. But you should know, if billion and million and billion people are getting tested, and if hardly you are going to have few those kind of adverse reactions, I don't see this should take people as a threat, and people should develop a kind. People should not develop a kind of a notion that vaccines are causing all this. No, this happens with each and every vaccine. Few adverse reaction, but when we see adverse reactions are significantly high, then even drug controller and during trial itself, it is such kind of things are stopped. So when even formation was reported in the case of the Covishield trial, this was again evaluated and studied. So in few of the this is negligible, and that can happen anywhere at any time with any. Even if we go on street, we are not safe. So
Yes.
definition of safety is very different.
Correct, sir. You are very right. You are very right. Sir, as I think you already explained us so nicely, but still, particularly there are certain confusions which is running in people. But particularly since I am from the healthcare fraternity, so I would really like to ask you this question. Like, there is a great kind of confusion among healthcare providers, like as well as common people, like we already talked about it, regarding the administration of certain drugs post vaccination. So, sir, it will be very nice if you just share your thoughts and your expert comments on these areas. So it will really help the healthcare providers to get actual insights and how to go about the things.
Okay. So even you are means you want to know about post COVID, or during COVID treatment itself you want to know about those drugs.
Sir, if you have time, if you just highlight both the things, it will be very nice.
See, when this started, this all pandemic started, virus was here. Our immune system even didn't see that virus before, so our immune system was not ready to cope up with. Even if you consider the antiviral drugs, I would say if we compare our antibiotics to antivirals, we don't have very many antivirals in our basket except ribavirin and some type 1 interferon, as well as few antiretroviral drugs which we give to our HIV patients. So at that time, our clinicians and scientists worked together to find out what could be effective, at least to take care of patients' health. So everything started all the way from hydroxychloroquine, if you remember. It also went to remdesivir. It also went to other kind of like plasma therapy and things.
Correct.
So what happens in the case of the drugs, if we don't have very many specific drugs and we are in middle of any such kind of condition where pandemic is there, then we use those drugs which are already in our basket for some other indication. Take exam, and that those drugs come under the category of, we say, repurposed drugs. So remdesivir, was an antiretroviral, and it was seen that it can reduce at least safety, means the period of sickness from 14 days to 10 days or so. But as we went on further, and our clinician and scientists, they study the disease well and see the improvement of condition, then now WHO as well as our ICMR have also taken off the remdesivir, hydroxychloroquine, all these drugs for the treatment. Even plasma therapy has been stopped. Now, considering the post-COVID situation when we use drug, I would suggest that because this is COVID-19 is a multi-system disorder. Sometimes it affects our respiratory system badly, sometimes our cardiac system, sometimes our gastrointestinal system. I think any patient suffering from any such kind of complications post COVID should go directly to a clinician and ask and have a suggestion for medication and all, rather than going directly to medical store and picking something over the shelf. That would be a kind of critical issue. So I would say better patients to refer to the clinicians to have such kind of opinions during post COVID if they are facing it.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think many of the common things that the news that are running here and there, and people are simply getting hyped, and the anxiety I see leads to a very high stress level in all age groups now. So I think your insights and the way, very simple way you have explained these has actually opened our mind, and I think this particular show will be very very useful for all sectors of the society. And I will not take more time, and thank you so much for coming in. And I think you have a very busy schedule, but getting time for this was really it was really kind of you. Thank you so much, sir, and I think we'll meet again in similar talks in future. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for having me in your show. Thank you very much, Dr. Garg.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
So that was Professor Singh with us, and I hope this interview has opened up your mind. Please share this video with each and every one of your friends, families, and colleagues, because these insights are coming not from a person, not from WhatsApp, not from somebody who is not expert. This is a person. This is coming from an expert who is working day in and day out, who are into the development process. So I think this was amazing, and I hope you are all doing good. And thank you so much for tuning in this show. And please take care and stay safe. Bye bye.